Eliza hit the wooden wall again, hard enough that pain shot through her palm, and the house answered with a hollow tremor that felt too deep for timber. The night outside was dead quiet, the kind of quiet that made her breath sound like guilt. She leaned in close and whispered, "Stop it." The wall answered with a soft knock. Then another. Her eyes widened and she stepped back. "I said stop," she said louder, voice breaking. From inside the wall came a child's voice, thin but clear. "Mama?" Eliza froze, shaking her head. "No. Don't call me that." The voice waited, then spoke again. "Why won't you open?" Eliza pressed her ear to the wood even though her body told her not to. The sound was closer now, like someone breathing through cracks. She whispered, "There's nothing there." Behind her, the room felt smaller, like it was closing in. The oil lamp flickered, throwing her shadow against the wall in a shape that looked wrong, stretched too long. She slapped the wall again, angry now. "Stop talking. Stop." The answer came immediately, almost eager. "You're the one knocking." Eliza pulled back, heart pounding. She turned her head toward the empty hallway. No one was there. Still, she whispered, "Who are you?" The voice softened. "You know me." Eliza shook her head harder. I don't know you." The wall knocked again, slower this time, like patience. "Knock. Pause. Knock." Then the word came again, gentle, devastating. "Mama?" Eliza's knees weakened. She grabbed the edge of the table behind her to stay upright. "Don't say that," she said. "Don't you ever say that." The house creaked as if listening. Outside, the wind pushed against the walls, but inside there was no escape from the sound. The voice shifted closer, almost inside her ear now. "You used to answer me." Eliza closed her eyes tight. "I buried you." "I buried you," she said again, louder, as if volume could change truth. The wall responded with a sudden sharp knock that made dust fall from the frame. Then silence stretched, heavy and waiting. Eliza opened her eyes slowly. She pressed her forehead to the wood, trembling. "There's nothing there," she whispered again, but her voice no longer believed her. From the other side came one last sound, quiet and certain. "Eliza." Her name. Said correctly. Said like memory. She stepped back as if burned. "No one knows that voice," she said to the empty room. "No one." The wall gave a final knock, softer than the rest, like a promise instead of a threat. Then it stopped. And in the silence that followed, Eliza stood frozen, waiting for it to start again. Eliza stepped away from the wall, but it felt like it followed her movement, like the sound had weight. She whispered to herself, "This is not real. It is not real." The lamp flickered harder now, shadows crawling across the floorboards. She turned toward the door and said, "Someone is out there. Answer me." No answer came except a faint knock again, softer, almost careful. She swallowed and said, "If this is a trick, I will burn this house down." The voice returned, quieter than before, not mocking now, just steady. "You already tried." Eliza's breath stopped. She pressed her back against the opposite wall, eyes scanning every corner. "Stop," she said, voice smaller now. "Stop talking to me." The wall did not respond immediately. Then, very softly, "Mama." And Eliza did not answer this time. She only stood there, listening, as the house held its breath around her. Outside the wind rose again, but the house stayed silent as if waiting for her next mistake to happen now. "You hear things now," Sheriff Hale said, standing outside Eliza's house, his boots sinking into dry dirt. Eliza stepped onto the porch, face pale, tight. "I hear a child," she said. "There is no child," Hale replied. "She knows my name," Eliza said. Hale exhaled slow, looked past her at the house. "That place burned out 10 years ago," Eliza swallowed. "Then who was behind my wall?" Silence held for a moment, then knock knock came from inside the house. Eliza flinched. Hale straightened. "What the hell was that?" Eliza whispered it. Is her again? Hale stepped closer. No one is in there. Eliza shook her head. I am telling you, she answers me. Hale frowned. You hear echoes? That is all. Eliza raised her voice. It knows my name. Knock again, sharper this time. Hale turned toward the house. This is empty. Eliza whispered. Then what is it? Hale did not answer. Instead he walked forward and pressed his hand to the wall. Nothing. Eliza stared at his inside. I hear it. Hale pulled his hand away. You are alone here. Eliza shook her head. No, I am not. Knock knock came again, louder. Eliza stepped back from the porch, shaking. Hale, you hear that right? Hale hesitated, jaw tied. I hear what? Settling. Eliza laughed, sharp and broken. What? Does not say my name. Silence stretched heavy between them. Then the knock came again, slower, deliberate, like waiting. Hale lowered his voice. This house is dead. Eliza whispered. Then why is it answering me? Hale did not reply. Instead he stared at the doorframe like it might move. Eliza stepped closer again, pressing her hand to the wall. It is stronger now, she whispered. Hale grabbed her wrist. Stop doing that. Eliza pulled away at once. Something. Hale shook his head. No, it does not. Knock 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 came fast 3 times. Eliza stepped back. Eyes what? I am not crazy. Hale softer. I did not say you were. Eliza pointed at the wall. Then what is it? Hale opened his mouth, then closed it for a moment. Even he looked uncertain. Wind passed over the yard, but the house stayed still. Eliza whispered. It knows me. Hale, it knows me. Hale finally said low. Go inside. Lock your doors. Eliza shook head. No, if I leave it gets louder. Knock knock came again. Hale stepped back, frustrated. I told you that house burned empty. Eliza snapped. Then why does it answer me? Silence, then faint voice from inside. Mama. Eliza staggered, breath catching. Hale froze. Did you hear that? Eliza barely. I did. Knock knock again, softer now. Eliza whispered. It is getting closer. Hale stepped toward the house again, hand on holster. This ends now, he said. Eliza grabbed his arm. Do not shoot it. Hale looked at her. It is a wall. Eliza whispered. No, it is not. Knock 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 faster now. Hale stepped closer, pressed ear to wall. Nothing. He frowned. I hear nothing. Eliza whispered. I hear everything. Silence stretched. Then the voice again. Eliza. Hale pulled back. What did it just say? Eliza trembling. It knows my name. Hale looked at her, then at the house, uneasy. This is not possible. Eliza whispered. It has been here longer than you think. Knock knock. Hale stepped back slowly. All right, we go inside together. Eliza nodded, shaking. They moved toward the door. The house creaked like it was breathing. Eliza whispered. Last thing it said was my name. Hale swallowed hard. Then we find out what is saying it. Eliza stepped inside, slowly listening as the knock echoed behind them, louder than before, and then stopped, but not gone, waiting still. Eliza stood inside the house with the door still shaking behind her, Sheriff Hale close enough that his breath felt like tension in the air. The knocking had stopped, but the silence was worse because now the voice was inside her memory instead of the wall. Eliza whispered. I hear her again. Hale said low. There is no her. Eliza turned sharply. Then what is she? The wall answered with a soft knock. Eliza flinched and stepped back, saying stop. From inside came the child voice. Mama. Eliza shook her head. No. Hale looked at her. What did it say? Eliza whispered. It called me that name. Hale said names don't come from walls. Eliza stepped closer and pressed her palm. The wood felt warm like skin underneath. Eliza whispered. You are not real. The voice returned. I never left you. Eliza froze and said that is impossible. Hale stepped between them. What is happening? The wall knocked again 3 slow times. Then the voice spoke clearer. Mama, why? Eliza whispered. Stop saying that, please. The voice replied. You used to answer. Hale said. Eliza, who are you hearing? Eliza looked at him like he was distant. I buried her, she said, suddenly breaking. Hale frowned. Buried who? Eliza stepped back. I had a child. The room seemed to tighten around her. Hale said softly. There is no record. Eliza snapped. I know what I held. The wall knocked once like agreement. Then the voice whispered. You closed it. Eliza shook her head harder. No. The voice grew sharper. You closed me. Hale said. Eliza, listen to me now. Eliza whispered. I am listening. I am. The voice cut in. You are lying. Eliza stepped forward toward the wall again. Hale grabbed her arm. Stop doing that. Eliza said. I need to know. The voice softened again. Mama, you left. Eliza whispered. No, I did not leave. Hale said. Your mind is breaking. Eliza turned on him angrily. Do not. The wall knocked again, harder this time. Then the voice spoke. We are here. Eliza froze. What do you mean we? The voice answered. I am not alone. Eliza whispered. No, that is wrong. Hale stepped back from the wall slowly. Something is inside that is not human. Eliza shook her head. It is her. Hale said. No child survives that fire. Eliza whispered. Then why is she here? The wall gave a slow, patient knock. The voice returned, calling her name again. Eliza whispered, "Stop, stop, please stop." Hale said, "We need to leave now." Eliza said, "I cannot leave her." The voice answered, "Good, you never did." Eliza whispered, "What are you?" The voice paused, then said, "Yours." Hale said, "This is not possible." Eliza stepped back, shaking violently. The wall knocked 3 times again. Then the voice whispered, "I remember you." Eliza closed her eyes. "I am sorry." Hale said, "Sorry for what, Eliza?" Eliza whispered, "For everything I did." The voice responded, "You tried to save me." Eliza shook her head. "I failed." The wall went silent for a moment. Then the voice came back softer. "Mama, I am still here." Eliza broke down slightly. "No, please." Hale said, "Eliza, you need help." Eliza laughed weakly. "I need truth." The wall knocked again, one final time. The voice whispered, "Do not forget me." Eliza whispered, "I never could." Hale said, "We are leaving now." Eliza did not move from wall. The voice said, "Please open it." Eliza whispered, "I cannot open it." Hale said, "You must choose, Eliza." Eliza looked at the wall, crying. The voice said, "Choose me again." Eliza whispered, "I cannot lose you again." Hale said, "Eliza, there is nothing there." The wall knocked once, slow and final. The voice whispered, "Mama, I am real." Eliza whispered, "Then why does it hurt?" Hale said, "Step away from it now." Eliza whispered, "I cannot." The wall whispered, "Mama, stay here." Eliza stood in the middle of the room as the house felt different, like it had started listening back to them. Sheriff Hale stayed near the doorway, watching the walls instead of her now. Eliza whispered, "It's moving." Hale answered immediately, "Walls don't move." Eliza shook her head, eyes locked on the wooden surface. "This one does." The wall gave a low sound, like something breathing behind it. Hale frowned and stepped closer. "I don't hear anything." Eliza said, "Then you're not listening right." She placed her palm flat on the wood again. The moment she did, a soft thump came from inside. Hale froze. "What was that?" Eliza whispered, "You felt it this time." Hale didn't answer. He pressed his hand against the same spot again, harder. Nothing at first. Then a faint vibration, like something shifting deep inside the structure. Hale pulled back slowly. "That's not possible." Eliza said, "It's been happening since I came here." The wall gave another thump, stronger, closer. Dust drifted down from the frame. The air in the room felt tighter, like the space was shrinking around them. Hale looked around, uneasy now. "This place is wrong." Eliza said, "It has always been wrong. You just never noticed." Another pulse ran through the wall, slow and steady like a heartbeat. Hale said, "I need light." He lit a small lamp, holding it up. The shadows stretched across the wall, shifting in strange ways, like they were reacting to something underneath the wood. Eliza whispered, "It doesn't like the light." Hale said, "What doesn't like it?" Eliza answered, "Whatever is inside." The wall gave another deep sound. Not a knock this time, but a word forming under breath. "Please." Hale stiffened. "That is not wind." Eliza said, "It's her." Hale turned sharply. "Stop saying that." Eliza stepped closer again, ignoring him. "She's scared." Hale snapped, "There is no she." The wall responded with a slow thump. Then again. "Please." The word was clearer now. Hale stepped back from the wall, his hand hovering near his weapon. "This isn't normal." Eliza said, "Nothing about this house is normal." The wall pulsed again, stronger, like something pressing outward from inside. Hale said, "Something is trapped." Eliza shook her head. "Not trapped. Held." The voice came again, softer now. "Mama." Eliza flinched like it hit her physically. Hale saw it. "You hear that every time?" Eliza whispered, "Yes." Hale said, "That voice is not real." Eliza turned on him. "Then why does it know me?" Silence followed. The wall gave one more slow pulse, steady and alive. Hale said quietly, "If something is inside, it shouldn't be able to speak." Eliza said, "It shouldn't be able to survive either." The lamp flickered, shadows bending strangely along the wall's surface. Hale looked at it closely now, suspicion turning into discomfort. "I've seen fire damage, collapse patterns, echoes in old buildings. This is different," Eliza said, "because it didn't stay dead." The wall gave a final soft knock, like a breath released. Then the voice came again, faint but clear. "Don't leave me." Eliza closed her eyes. Hale said, "Eliza, step away from it." Eliza didn't move. "I can't." Hale said, "You have to." Eliza whispered, "She's still here." The room went still again, but not empty. Something inside the wall waited, and this time it wasn't knocking anymore. It was listening. Eliza stood in the narrow kitchen as the house settled into an uneasy silence that felt heavier than sound. Her husband kept his back turned, hands locked on the table like he was holding himself in place. Eliza said, "You hear her too?" He answered without turning, "No." Eliza stepped closer. "You won't say it." He finally looked at her, eyes cold and tired. "Because it ain't real." Eliza shook her head. "Then why does the wall speak my name?" He exhaled sharply. "You're digging up things that should stay buried." Eliza's voice rose. "You buried them already." The room tightened between them like a wire pulled too far. He pushed the chair back. "Stop doing this." Eliza didn't move. "You sealed that wall." He snapped, "I fixed this house." Eliza pointed toward the hallway. "You fixed nothing. You covered it." He stepped forward now, anger breaking through. "You don't know what you're talking about." Eliza said, "I know what I lost." Silence hit the room, sudden and sharp. He looked away. "That night is gone." Eliza whispered, "It isn't gone. It's inside the walls." He shook his head. "You need to stop listening." Eliza said, "I stopped once. That's how it happened." His jaw tightened. "Don't start again." Eliza stepped right in front of him. "Tell me what you did that night." He froze. "Don't ask that." From the direction of the wall, a faint knock echoed through the house. Both of them went still. Eliza whispered, "There." He said quickly, "That's wind." Eliza turned sharply. "Wind doesn't knock like that." Another knock followed, slower this time, deliberate. He rubbed his forehead. "You're hearing things." Eliza said, "Then why are you pale?" He moved toward the hallway, then stopped. "Stop pushing this." Eliza followed. "You're scared." He turned fast. "I said stop." The wall answered again, a soft thump that ran through the floorboards. Eliza whispered, "She's getting louder." He lowered his voice. "There is no she." Eliza's eyes filled. "You were there that night." He didn't answer. "You saw it." Still silence. Eliza said, "You helped seal it." He finally snapped, "I helped save you." Eliza shook her head. "You saved yourself." The air went still again. From the wall came a voice, faint but clear. "Why didn't you come back?" Eliza stumbled slightly. Her husband went pale. "That's not possible." Eliza whispered, "It remembers." He stepped back. "No. No, this is not real." The voice came again, closer. "You left me there." Eliza covered her mouth. "Stop it." Her husband backed toward the door. "This house is wrong." Eliza said, "It's not the house." He looked at her sharply. "Then what is it?" Eliza whispered, "It's us." The wall gave a heavy knock that shook the frame. Dust fell. He turned toward it now, fear breaking through his anger. "What did you do?" Eliza whispered, "I tried to save her." He said, You opened something. Eliza nodded slowly. And you helped close it. The voice came again, softer, almost gentle. Mama. Eliza shut her eyes. Her husband whispered, "No," Eliza said, "she never left." He shook his head violently. "That child is gone." Eliza opened her eyes. "Then why is she still calling?" Silence filled the kitchen again, but it was no longer empty. The wall waited, and both of them understood it was no longer asking. It was remembering. Eliza stepped back slowly, unable to breathe as the wood seemed to pulse again under unseen pressure. The house creaked like it was alive now, not just haunted but aware of them both. Her husband whispered, "We should leave this place," but his feet did not move. Eliza shook her head, knowing leaving would not stop what had already woken inside the walls. The knocking started again, softer at first, then forming her name like a warning she could no longer deny or escape this time fully. Eliza stood outside the burned house at the edge of town where the ground still carried the smell of old smoke even after all these years. The wood was blackened, walls half collapsed, like the place had been frozen mid-scream and left to rot. Sheriff Hale was not with her this time. She came alone because no one would follow her anymore. An old man sat on a broken crate near the fence watching her. He said, "You shouldn't be here." Eliza replied, "I need to know what happened." The old man shook his head. "That house took everything it had." Eliza stepped closer to the ruin. There was a child. He looked away. There was a family. Eliza turned back sharply. A girl. Where is she? Silence stretched before he answered. Never found her body. Eliza walked through the broken doorway carefully, stepping over ash and shattered beams. Every step sounded too loud in the dead space. She whispered, she was real. The old man followed reluctantly. People say a lot of things after fire. Eliza touched a burned wall. It crumbled slightly under her fingers like it was still fragile. She said, "This is not just fire damage." The old man muttered, "Some things don't burn right." Eliza looked at him. "What does that mean?" He hesitated. "Means something was already wrong inside before the flames ever came." Eliza moved deeper into the house where the air felt heavier, like it remembered voices. She whispered, "Do you hear that?" The old man paused. "Hear what?" A faint sound drifted through the ruins, almost like breathing. Then a voice, soft and distant. "Mama." Eliza froze instantly. The old man stepped back. "No. That's not here." Eliza said, "It is." The voice came again, clearer this time. "You came back late." Eliza's hands shook. "I didn't leave you." The old man looked confused. "Who are you talking to?" Eliza didn't answer him. She stepped into what used to be a bedroom. The walls were barely standing, but the shape of the room still held memory like a scar. Eliza whispered, "You were here." The voice answered, "I waited." The old man said sharply, "This place is empty." Eliza turned on him. "Then why is she speaking?" He stepped back toward the door. "I don't like this." Eliza said, "You don't have to like it. You just have to tell me the truth." He shook his head. "Truth is fire happened." "That's it." The voice shifted again, lower now. "You let me burn." Eliza gasped. No, the old man looked at her now with fear. "This is not normal grief." Eliza whispered, "It's not grief." She touched the floorboards. They were warm under ash like something still alive beneath them. The voice repeated, "You closed the door." Eliza shook her head harder. "I didn't close anything." The old man said, "We need to go." Eliza ignored him. She knelt down, voice breaking. "Tell me where you are." The voice answered, "Inside." Eliza whispered, "Inside what?" The walls answered with a faint knock, like a response from everywhere at once. The old man backed out of the room. "I'm done with this." Eliza shouted after him, "There was a girl here." He stopped at the doorway. And she's gone, Eliza said quietly, or she's not. The wind outside pushed through the broken structure, but inside it felt sealed. The voice came one last time, closer than before. You built it around me. Eliza closed her eyes as the truth pressed into her like weight. The old man left without looking back. Eliza stayed alone in the burned house, listening as the silence finally started to breathe back at her. Eliza whispered into the ash-filled air that she was still listening, and the house answered with a final soft knock that sounded like her name breaking apart inside the ruins, as if something inside had finally remembered her completely and would not forget again ever, no matter how far she ran. Eliza stood inside her own house again, but it no longer felt like hers. The walls seemed closer, the air heavier, like the rooms were leaning in to listen. Sheriff Hale stayed near the doorway, tense, watching her more than the wall now. Eliza whispered, "It's different." Hale said, "It's always been the same house." A faint knock answered from inside the wall. Eliza flinched immediately. "No," she said, "it changed." From the wall came a voice, soft and familiar. "Mama." Eliza's breath caught. Hale stepped forward. "Don't react to it." Eliza whispered, "You hear that, right?" Hale didn't answer quickly. Then another voice came, layered under the first, quieter, older somehow. "Let me out." Eliza stepped back. "There's two." Hale frowned. "No. There is one source. One echo." Eliza shook her head. "No. That's not the same voice." The wall knocked once, then again, like it was separating itself. The first voice returned. "Mama, I'm here." The second followed immediately after. She remembers now. Eliza covered her mouth. "Stop it." Hale looked sharply at her. "What did it say?" Eliza whispered, "It said she remembers." Hale moved closer to the wall again, pressing his hand against it. "There's nothing here but wood." The wall responded instantly with a sharp knock. Eliza said, "Don't do that." Hale said, "I need to understand what you think you're hearing." Eliza stepped forward. "I'm not thinking it. I'm hearing it." The voices overlapped now, one calling Mama and the other whispering, "You left us." Eliza shook her head harder. "No. No, that's wrong." Hale turned to her. "What does that mean, us?" Eliza didn't answer. The wall knocked again, harder, like pressure building inside it. The second voice returned, colder now. "We waited together." Eliza whispered, "Together?" Hale stepped back slightly. "Eliza, what are you not telling me?" Eliza's voice broke. "I don't know anymore." The first voice came again, soft and pleading. "Open it." The second cut through immediately after. "Don't trust her." Eliza froze. "What?" Hale looked between Eliza and the wall. "That's not possible." The room felt split now, like two conversations happening inside the same space. Eliza whispered, "They're arguing." Hale said, "There is no they." The wall answered with two knocks, out of sync, like disagreement. The first voice repeated, "Mama, please." The second replied, "She closed it." Eliza stepped back slowly. "I didn't close anything." Hale said firmly, "Eliza, listen to me. This is stress, trauma, echo patterns." Eliza snapped, "Stop explaining it like it's simple." The wall went quiet for a second. Then both voices spoke at once, overlapping. "She knows. She remembers." Eliza pressed her forehead against the opposite wall, breathing hard. "What do you want from me?" The first voice answered softly, "Let me come back." The second answered immediately, "Let us out." Hale stiffened. "That's not one child." Eliza whispered, "I buried one child." Silence hit the room. Then the wall knocked once, slow and heavy. The second voice returned. "No." Eliza looked up sharply. "No what?" The voice answered, "There was never only one." Hale stepped back. Eliza shook her head violently. Stop saying that. The first voice softened again. Mama, don't forget me. The second voice cut through. She already did. Eliza backed away from the wall, shaking. I didn't forget you. Hale said quietly, Eliza, who are you talking to? Eliza looked at him like she was seeing him for the first time. I don't know. The wall gave 2 final knocks, perfectly out of rhythm. One gentle. One hard. Then silence. But it was not empty anymore. It was divided. Eliza stood in the room, but the air felt heavier now, like something inside her had cracked open and was spilling out into everything around her. Sheriff Hale stayed close, watching her more than the wall now. Eliza whispered, It's coming back. Hale said, What is coming back? Eliza shook her head. I don't remember, but I feel it. Hale stepped closer. Focus on me. Eliza closed her eyes. There was fire. Hale said, There was no child there. Eliza shook her head harder. Yes, there was. I heard her. The room flickered strangely, like memory cutting through reality. A voice echoed in her mind. You locked the door. Eliza whispered, I saved her. Another voice followed, colder. You chose wrong. Eliza stepped back. No. I chose love. The night came back in fragments. Smoke. Screaming wood. A child crying somewhere behind a sealed wall. Eliza running through heat, calling a name she could not fully hold onto anymore. Hale grabbed her shoulders. Stay with me, Eliza. Eliza whispered, I left her there. Hale said, there was no way in. Eliza cried, I had a way. Suddenly she saw it clearly. The door. The fire. The wall sealing something behind it. Her own hands pushing would shut while everything inside begged not to be left. The voices returned inside her head. You did this. No, she tried to save us. Eliza screamed, Stop, both of you. Hale said, What child are you talking about? Eliza whispered, I don't know anymore, if she was real or made of fire. The fire returned again inside her memory. Wood cracking. Smoke choking. A child's voice calling from behind something that should not have been closed. Eliza running, hands bleeding, trying to break through while Hale pulled her back. Hale whispered, I was there too. I saw what you did. And I said nothing because I thought it would end there. Eliza looked at him. Then we both sealed it. The wall answered with one long knock that felt like agreement. Eliza stood shaking. Maybe I didn't bury her, maybe I buried the part of me that could accept what happened. Hale said, You are splitting truth into fear. Eliza said, Or fear is the only truth left. The fire came again in flashes. The scream behind wood. The child calling. Eliza's hands against something that would not open no matter how hard she hit it. Hale said, You are describing trauma, not truth. Eliza said, Then why does it answer me at night? The memory hit harder again. She saw herself running back into the burning house while Hale shouted for her to stop. But she did not stop. Something inside was still calling her. And then she understood the wall was not outside her memory. It was inside it, sealed there with her decision. The voices merged again. Mama, why did you leave us? Eliza whispered, I never left. I just forgot. Hale looked at her quietly. Something is living inside that memory, Eliza. Eliza stepped back toward the wall. Then we both sealed it. The wall answered with a single deep knock. Eliza whispered, There she is. Hale stepped back slowly. That is not a child anymore. The silence that followed felt alive, like something inside the house had finally remembered what it was. Eliza stood there, knowing the night she forgot was not over. It was only beginning again now. Eliza stood in front of the wall with a hammer in her hand she did not remember picking up. Her fingers were tight around the handle, like letting go would break her more than holding on. Sheriff Hale stood behind her near the doorway. "Don't do this," he said. Eliza didn't turn. "I have to." Hale stepped closer. "You don't know what's in there." Eliza whispered, "I do." The wall was quiet now, but it felt wrong, like it was holding its breath on purpose. Eliza lifted the hammer slightly. "It's my child," she said. Hale shook his head. "It's not that simple." Eliza's voice cracked. "It never was." From inside the wall came a soft knock. Then a voice, gentle and familiar. "Mama." Eliza closed her eyes. Hale said, "That's not proof." Eliza whispered, "It's everything." She raised the hammer higher. Hale grabbed her wrist. "Stop. You open that, you don't control what comes out." Eliza looked at him. "I already lost control the night I closed it." The wall knocked again, louder now, impatient. The voice followed. "Don't leave me again." Eliza pulled her arm free. "I'm not leaving you." Hale said sharply, "Eliza, listen to me. If something survived in there, it's not what you think it is." Eliza turned toward him. "Then what is it?" Hale hesitated. "Something that adapted." Eliza stepped closer to the wall. "She's been calling me." Hale said, "Or something learned your memory." Eliza shook her head. "No. It knows me too well." The wall gave a slow, deep knock that vibrated through the floorboards. Dust fell from the frame. Eliza whispered, "She's hurting." Hale said, "You are interpreting it." Eliza raised the hammer again. "I can fix it." Hale stepped forward. "You can't fix something you don't understand." Eliza said, "Then I'll understand it when I break it open." The voice came again, softer, almost pleading. "Mama, it's cold." Eliza froze for a moment. Hale said quietly, "That is not a child's language." "It's imitation." Eliza's hands shook. "I don't care." Hale said, "You will when it changes." Eliza looked at the wall. "If you're in there, I'm sorry." The wall responded with one slow knock, like acknowledgement. Hale said, "You're talking to it like it's alive." Eliza whispered, "It is alive." Or I made it alive. The memory flickered again in her mind. Fire. Screaming wood. A sealed space. A voice begging through something she refused to name properly. Her own hands pressing it shut while something inside kept calling her back. Eliza raised the hammer fully now. "I can't hear you anymore from inside there," she said. "Not like this." Hale stepped back. "If you do this, you won't be able to close it again." Eliza looked at him. "I already couldn't." The wall knocked twice. The voice followed immediately. "Please." Eliza whispered, "I am here." She swung the hammer. The first strike hit the wood and the house shuddered like it felt pain. Hale shouted, "Stop." Eliza hit again. And again. The wall cracked slightly, dust pouring out like breath escaping a sealed lung. From inside came a sound that was not quite a voice yet. Not fully human. Not fully anything. Just recognition. Eliza stopped for a second, breathing hard. "I'm here," she whispered again. The wall answered with a long, trembling knock that felt like it came from both sides at once. Hale said quietly, "You don't know what you're waking." Eliza looked at the crack forming in the wood. "No," she said. "I'm remembering." And she raised the hammer again as the wall waited, no longer knocking like before, but listening for what came next. Eliza stood inches from the cracked wall, breathing hard, sweat and dust clinging to her face. The hammer hung low in her hand now, heavier than before, like it no longer belonged to her. Sheriff Hale stayed behind her, tense, watching the break in the wood as if it might suddenly open on its own. Eliza whispered, "It's close." Hale said, "Step away from it." Eliza shook her head. "It's already here." The crack in the wall widened slightly, and something inside shifted. Not wood. Not silence. Something aware. A faint voice slipped through. "Mama," Eliza flinched but didn't move back. Hale said sharply, "Don't answer it." Eliza whispered, "I can't ignore her." She lifted the hammer again, but slower now. "I just need to see." Hale grabbed her arm. "You don't want to see what's inside that." Eliza pulled free. "I already saw it once." Hale said, "Then you know why it should stay closed." The wall answered again, clearer now. "You came back." Eliza's breath shook. "I never left you." Hale stepped closer to the crack. "That is not a child speaking normally." Eliza said, "I don't care what it is. It knows me." The wood shifted again, and the crack spread wider. A faint shape moved behind it, but it was not stable, like memory trying to become flesh and failing halfway. Eliza whispered, "What are you?" The voice answered, "What you made." Hale froze. "Eliza," she didn't look at him. "I didn't make anything." The voice replied immediately. "You fed me." Eliza stepped back slightly. "No." The wall gave a low deep sound, like something pressing from both sides at once. Dust fell like ash. Hale said, "This is not a child. It's a construct. A residue." Eliza snapped, "Stop talking like you understand it." The voice shifted, now layered. One soft, one distorted. "We were hungry." Eliza whispered, "We?" Hale looked at her sharply. "There is more than one presence in there." Eliza stepped closer again, trembling. "What did I trap?" The wall responded with a sound like breathing turning into speech. "We stayed when you closed it." Eliza shook her head. "I was saving you." The voice answered, "You were hiding us." Hale said, "Eliza, step away now." Eliza didn't move. "I need to know the truth." Hale said, "This is not truth. It's something formed inside trauma and fire." Eliza whispered, "Then why does it remember me perfectly?" The crack widened more. A glimpse inside showed something not fully formed, like a child's outline made of smoke, grief, and repetition. But there was more than one shape moving behind it, overlapping, wrong in size and voice. The second voice spoke now, colder. "She chose us." Eliza froze. "No," Hale said quietly, "that is not a child speaking." Eliza stepped back, shaking. "What did I do?" The voices overlapped again. "You sealed us in. You kept us alive wrong." Hale said firmly, "You need to accept this is not your daughter." Eliza turned on him suddenly. "Then what is it?" Hale hesitated. "Something that survived what should have ended." Eliza looked back at the wall. "I didn't mean to hurt you." The voices responded together. "But you did." The crack widened again, and for a second, the house felt like it inhaled. Eliza stumbled back as something inside pressed forward. Hale grabbed her arm. "We need to seal it again." Eliza whispered, "I already tried that once." The voice came again, softer now. "Don't close it this time." Eliza shook her head. "I can't open it fully." Hale said, "Good. Don't." Eliza looked at the broken wall. "I tried to save you from the fire." The voice answered, "You gave us the fire." Eliza stepped back slowly, realization breaking through her fear. "I didn't save you. I changed you." The wall went still for a moment. Then both voices spoke together, perfectly aligned for the first time. "We grew together." Eliza dropped the hammer slightly. Hale said quietly, "This is the point of no return." Eliza whispered, "Then what am I looking at?" The crack pulsed once, like a heartbeat that did not belong to anything human anymore. And inside the broken wall, something smiled back without form, waiting for her next choice. Eliza stood in the broken room with dust still falling from the cracked wall like the house was slowly bleeding out what it had been hiding. Sheriff Hale grabbed her arm hard. "Close it," he said. Eliza shook her head. "I can't." The voices inside the wall were no longer soft. They were aware now. They were listening back. Hale said again, "You opened it." Eliza whispered, "Then I'll end it." A deeper sound came from inside the wall, like something shifting closer to the surface. Not knocking now. Waiting. Eliza stepped forward and touched the broken wood. It felt warm. Too warm. Hale pulled her back. "Don't touch it." Eliza said, "It already touched me first." The voice came again, layered and wrong. "Mama." Eliza closed her eyes for a second. "Stop calling me that." The voice answered, "You never stopped being it." Hale stepped between them. "This is not a child. This is contamination of memory." Eliza snapped, "Stop talking like it's simple." The wall cracked slightly wider on its own. Dust fell in slow motion. From inside came another voice beneath the first. Colder. Sharper. "She chose us." Eliza froze. "No," Hale said, "there is more than one entity in there." Eliza stepped back. "What did I do?" The voices overlapped. "You sealed us wrong. You left us half alive." Hale said firmly, "This is beyond you now. You need to step away." Eliza shook her head. "I already stepped away once. That's how this started." Hale looked at her. "Then let me handle it." Eliza whispered, "You can't handle what remembers you." A heavy pulse came from inside the wall, shaking the frame. The house creaked like it was adjusting itself around what was inside. Hale reached for his weapon instinctively. "If this spreads, it doesn't stay in this house." Eliza looked at him. "It's already everywhere." The voice responded immediately. "We are not inside only the wall." Hale went still. "What does that mean?" Eliza stepped closer again, ignoring him. "What are you?" The answer came as one voice again, unified now. "What you refused to finish." Eliza shook her head violently. "I didn't refuse. I couldn't." Hale said quietly, "Eliza, listen to me. Whatever this is, it is adapting. Learning." Eliza said, "Or remembering." Hale replied, "That is worse." The wall opened slightly more. Not fully, but enough for something inside to press against the surface. It was not a body. Not fully formed. But it carried presence. Weight. Awareness. Eliza whispered, "I see you now." The voice answered, "You always did." Hale stepped forward. "We seal it again. Right now." Eliza said, "We tried sealing before." Hale said, "Then we do it properly this time." Eliza looked at the crack. "If I seal it again, I lose her forever." Hale said, "You already did." The voice responded softly, almost gently. "You are afraid of losing what you created." Eliza stepped back like she was hit. "I didn't create you." The wall answered, sharper now. "You made the decision that made us possible." Hale looked at Eliza. "What decision?" Eliza didn't answer immediately. Her breath shook. "I closed the door." Hale said, "On what?" Eliza whispered, "On fire." Silence hit the room. Then the voices overlapped again, louder now. "You chose closure over us. You chose silence over truth." Hale said urgently, "We need to seal it now before it expands." Eliza shook her head. No. Hale grabbed her shoulders. "Eliza, this is not about guilt anymore." Eliza looked at him. "It always was." The wall trembled again, stronger. Dust lifted from the floor like something inside was pushing air outward. The voice spoke clearly now. "Open it fully or end it fully." Eliza froze. "What?" Hale said, "That's not a choice. The voice answered, "It is the only one left." Eliza stepped forward slowly. "If I open it," Hale shouted, "don't." Eliza whispered, "Then I end it." Hale shook his head. "You'll die." Eliza looked at him. "I already did once." The wall went still. Waiting. Eliza raised her hand toward the broken wood. And for the first time, the voices inside did not speak. They waited for her decision. Eliza stood alone in front of the broken wall while Sheriff Hale stayed just behind her, tense and silent now, like even he had run out of certainty. The crack in the wood had widened enough that something inside could breathe through it. Not fully out. Not fully trapped. Eliza whispered, "It's still here." Hale said, "It's waiting for you." Eliza touched the edge of the broken plank. It felt warm again, like skin under pressure. From inside came a soft voice. "Mama." Eliza closed her eyes. "I'm here." Hale stepped forward. "Don't respond to it like that." Eliza whispered, "It knows me better than anything else now." The voice changed slightly, layered again. "Not just one anymore. Stay." Eliza shook her head slowly. "I can't stay." Hale said, "We seal it and leave." Eliza looked at him. "If we seal it again, it won't stay sealed." The wall gave a slow pulse, like something inside reacting to their fear. Dust fell again. The house creaked as if adjusting itself around what it had become. Hale said, "We do it fast. No hesitation." Eliza whispered, "It doesn't want sealing anymore." The voice came again, softer now. "Don't go." Eliza stepped back slightly. "I never really left." Hale said, "Eliza, this is your last chance to step away." Eliza shook her head. "I already stepped away once. That's how it got trapped wrong." Hale looked at her. "Then fix it." Eliza laughed once, broken. "Fix what remembers me?" The wall trembled. The crack widened just enough for pressure to escape. Not a form yet. Not fully anything. But presence. Heavy. Real in the only way that mattered here. The voice said, "You made us stay between worlds." Eliza whispered, "I didn't know." Hale said sharply, "You're talking to it like it's reasoning." Eliza stepped forward again. "What do you want?" The voice answered, "Completion." Hale said, "That means destruction." The voice responded immediately, "Or release." Eliza turned slightly toward Hale. "If I open it fully, I lose everything." Hale said, "You already lost what mattered." Eliza shook her head. "No. I just buried it wrong." The voice softened. "Mama, it hurts." Eliza flinched. "Stop saying that." Hale said, "It's using memory against you." Eliza said, "Or memory is the only thing it has left." The wall gave a stronger pulse. The crack widened again, wood bending outward like it could no longer hold pressure. Hale stepped back instinctively. "This is becoming unstable."